Gonna be installing the shims on M8 rocker arms. Already got the front jug apart, clearance is measured. Gonna put those in, get them measured up, and then move on to the rear jug and button it up.
If you look at the rocker arm stanchions here, the post that the rocker shaft is going to sit in, you can see some wearing on the primary side or the horn side on my exhaust, a little bit on the intake. Let's look at the other side. On this side, you don't really see any wear on the carburetor side of the exhaust, and you see just a little bit on the intake side of the carburetor side of the engine.
So the reason that we put the shims on the non-thrust side is because we don't want that shim taking the pressure of those springs and of that cam. So I'm gonna spin the camera around and show you how you determine what the thrust side is, or why we call it the thrust side.
If you look at the angle of the push rod as it comes up from the lifter is gonna be pushing upward when it comes up on the lobe of the cam. And if you can see, the angle of this push rod is pushing that way. And that will be the thrust side, because that's the side taking the thrust of the angle of this push rod pushing that way. So we want to shim on this side. Conversely, this push rod is coming up, angling this way. You can kind of see the angle of it. So as this lifter comes up, pushes this push rod this way, it's going to push this rocker arm outward that way. So we don't want shims over here taking the brunt of that. We want the stanchion to take that. So that's why we put the shims on the other side. So it's an easy way to determine which side is the thrust side, is just look at your rocker arm and think of geometry. If this is coming at this angle, if I'm on this end of it, that's gonna be the receiving end of that push.
I just noticed on Fueling's instructions, it says right here, install intake rocker arm shims on primary drive side, install exhaust rocker arm shims on air cleaner side. So even they agree with me.
I've got my appropriate shims installed on the intake rocker arm, on the horn side, or primary side. Let's go see this measurement. Got my gauge zeroed. 4 thousandths, perfect. This is the exhaust side. Shim is on the push rod end, or the carburetor end, or air cleaner end. 4 thousandths.
Use some engine assembly lube up my rocker arm shafts. Also lube up the shim. A little bit on the roller tips. Top of the valve stem. I'm even going to put a little bit down here in the base of the saddle that the rocker arm shaft sits in. And we'll drop her in like so.
Put it in here, make sure that you don't squash your shim. Even pressure on both sides. Now there's no kind of lateral movement that's really loud. And that should quiet her down and improve the oiling.
Same thing with the intake side, some assembly lube the shim up. Back into the rocker arm. Nice and smooth. And this one is going to go on our non-thrust side. A little bit on the roller tips. Nice and easy. Both sides evenly. And no lateral movement on that side.
Now I'm on the rear jug. This is the intake rocker arm. Got my gauge zeroed, got my rocker arm pushed to one side. And looks like 10 thousandths on this side. And I got my shims in. I got them on the non-thrusting side of the intake. Gauge is at 0. 4 thousandths. This is the rear jug exhaust side, zeroed. On 11. Rear jug exhaust side shims in the non-thrusting side of the rocker arm. I've got the thickest shim towards the rocker arm. I got a 5 on towards the rocker arm and a 3 towards the head side. 4 thousandths. Right on the money.
So again, I'm gonna lube up my rocker arm shaft. Some engine assembly lube. Lube up my shims. Put a little bit down here in the stanchions where the rocker arm sits. Down into the head. Shaft back into the rocker arm. Shims on the non-thrust end. A little bit of assembly lube on the rollers. Nice and even on both sides. It goes down in there. And same thing on the exhaust. Now I've heard a lot of things about this. Some people have done it and nothing happened. Some people have taken apart the old shovel heads, the old iron heads, and found a bunch of shim material in the cam chest or throughout the hit. And so there's some non-believers out there, but it's not only the inconvenience of the noise, it's also the oiling. So I can tell on this one's my 5, this one's my 3. I can see me, I can tell that just by feeling it like this here. I could just tell, yeah, that's 3. Yeah, that's 5. You could blindfold me, I'd still be able to tell. On the exhaust side, this is the non-thrust side. So I got my 5 thousandths toward the rocker arm, my 3 thousandths away. Go in nice and even. Make sure we don't damage the shims. There she sits. I don't hear anything. Either one. Everything's torqued down. Put the rocker boxes back on. The Harley gaskets have up stenciled onto it, so if it doesn't say up, you got it the wrong way. Pretty hard to fuck that up. And there is a sequence and a torque value to the rocker box covers. I'll flash that up on the screen.